Digital Undivided supports urban women entrepreneurs through a variety of ways. One of our programs is our START program, which is very much an intro to startup culture and startup community and startup development that we hold in partnership with the United Negro College Fund and historically black colleges. So we bring our START program for a day to schools like Morehouse and Spelman and Howard and teach students how to build a startup. Another one of our programs is our Focus Fellow program, where we find and help develop black women entrepreneurs who are in the startup world. We help them grow their company, we help them make connections with investors, and hopefully we'll be able to help them exit. Over 10% of our Focus Fellows have raised at least $1 million. Now that might not seem like a lot in the grand scheme of people raising $1 billion, but when only 0.1% of all venture capital for the past 5 years going to black women, that's pretty significant. One of the reasons why the venture capital to black women and just people who are other in general is so small is mostly because of pattern matching and also networks. And pattern matching meaning that VCs have consistently invested in one type of person, usually the person who they can most relate to, and as a result, they continue to give funding to that person. I think a lot of people who are outside the startup space don't realize how funding is created. How do you get to be a VC? And one of the ways a lot of folks get to be VCs is through positive exits. That they were an entrepreneur themselves, they created a company, they were able to exit, and then they were able to use that money to help fund the next generation. The issue that we have, particularly in marginalized communities like the black community, and other communities including Latino communities, and even in a smaller case, the women community, is that we don't have enough exits. So we don't have enough people who are creating companies who are exiting and then becoming our next investor class. One of the issues that I think we have to be careful with is creating a false equivalency. I'm both a woman and I'm black at the same time. Like I'm not, I don't ever separate those two out, and I view the world through the lens of being a black woman and all the other identities, Ivy League educated, married, a wife, a sister, all those identities color how I view the world. So I don't separate between being a woman and being black. They're one and the same to me. And I think that it's not easier. I think any sort of other makes it more difficult when you're outside of whatever is considered norm. And so we've actually had really interesting conversations with people who are white men who happen to be over the age of 35. And age is an issue as well in the startup community, this belief that you have to be 22 in order to do things. So there's a lot of people who are struggling right now. And I think for tech to expand and continue to grow and to reach new markets and continue this path towards innovation, they're going to have to start bringing in other folks who fall outside of this, 22-year-old hoodie white guy from Harvard. Like there are more people than that in the world. Education is very important in nurturing entrepreneurship, but we also have to be careful of what education. There's a big push to coding in schools, and that's very important. We need people to be trained in how to be technical founders and how to create tech-based companies. But we also have to train folks in ownership and entrepreneurship. And those are very different than training someone to code. If we're going to really help create wealth and use tech to create wealth and participate in this amazing innovation economy that we have in this country and in this world, we're going to have to also teach people how to be owners. There's a number of programs I'm really excited about. Of course, I'm excited about ours at Digital Undivided, especially since we're doing a lot of work in women of color. I think what we're doing is innovative, helping create a path for others. Really excited about companies like All Star Code, which is an organization that's based in New York that's doing some really innovative things around young black men, an 8-week training course that has been quite successful. Very excited about companies like Startup Box South Bronx, which is an organization in the South Bronx that are training low opportunity youth to get jobs as QA. testers, which is for a lot of folks their entry into the tech world. And they're doing very well. They have partnerships with Nickelodeon and the city of New York. And so programs like that I find to be really, really exciting. And it also is great because it's part of a larger ecosystem, which I think is really important, that we have to have all these different parts. We have to have the coding classes, but we also have to have the rapid training for people who are ready to enter the job market now. And then we have to have projects like Digital Undivided that teach ownership and entrepreneurship so that people can hire the people who are coming through those other programs. South by is always just an exciting time period. I think everything, like you get off the plane in Austin and it's exciting. The things that I'm most excited about is the Internet of Things. I'm very excited about that. I think it's very interesting, the type of discussions around diversity. And it's not just race and gender diversity, but there's discussions around age, and it's discussion about even, different categories within tech versus how do you diversify your tech team with people who are product oriented and sales oriented. And I think that's a really exciting discussion that's going to really help tech quite a bit. Of course, everyone knows like the Meek Rat or Meek Rats like app that I'm hearing a lot of. I have an Android, so I can't really use it. I know, which is like, come on, dude. Like, so many people have like Androids. How are you going to leave us out like that? Of course, I'm excited about the parties. Like, we have a party, but everyone has a party. And so it's been really exciting. I think at its crux, South by is about making connections and meeting people. And sometimes people you didn't even think you're going to meet. Like, you just happen to be walking down the street and someone who follows you on Twitter is like, I know you from your avatar. And then you start talking and you build this relationship. And I think that's the best part of South by, is building the relationships and building the community.